We live in a world obsessed with time. Every tick of the clock, every sunrise, every deadline and schedule seems to push us forward, whispering that we are late for something, that we ought to be somewhere else, someone else, somehow more than we are. But time, you see, is a marvelous invention, a most useful illusion, a kind of trick we've played upon ourselves so thoroughly and so earnestly that we've come to mistake it for the fabric of reality itself. We think of time as a line stretching from a vanished past through a fleeting present into a mysterious future. We think we are travelers on this line, moving from what was to what will be. But look closely. Where is that line? Can you find it anywhere but in your own thought? The past is memory, a pattern of impressions, sensations, ideas echoing in the mind. The future is imagination, a projection, a dream that hasn't yet arrived. And the present is never captured, never pinned down. For the moment you try to say now, it's already gone. You see? Time is a story we tell ourselves about change. But change itself does not move in time, it is time. Just as waves are the sea in motion, time is the dance of being. We have confused the symbol for the reality, the clock for the cosmos, the calendar for the eternal mystery that moves within and around us. You might say, but surely, Alan, things happen one after the other. Yes, in our experience, events appear to follow a sequence, one thing after another. Yet this is only how the mind organizes perception. It's a sort of mental filing system. Reality itself is not a stack of moments, it's one vast symphony, playing all at once. When you listen to music, you don't hurry it along to reach the final chord. You don't say, let's get this over with so I can hear the end. You let it unfold. Because the beauty of music lies in the movement in each note blending into the next. And so it is with life. The melody of existence is not in its conclusion, but in the continuous play of this eternal present. But we clever, anxious creatures that we are have learned to measure the measureless. We have taken this fluid motion, this infinite dance, and divided it into slices, seconds, minutes, hours, years. And then we began to live for those slices. We began to worship the schedule, to bow before the clock as though it were a god that could tell us who we are. And in doing so, we became exiles from the now. Notice how your mind constantly runs away. It drifts into memory, the story of who you've been. Then it leaps forward. What will I do? What will happen next? What must I become? And in that running, that endless chase, you never arrive. You never truly meet the present. But the truth, the astonishing, liberating truth, is that you've never left it. There has never been a single moment that was not now. The whole notion of time passing is like a wave, believing it's traveling across the ocean, when in truth, it is the ocean, moment by moment. Stop for a moment. Listen. There is no before and no after in this hearing. Only the hum of existence, vibrating now. It's a strange thing. The more we try to grasp time, the more it slips away. Like trying to hold water in your hands. The tighter you squeeze, the faster it drains through your fingers. And yet, when you stop grasping, when you simply open your palms, the water rests there naturally. That's what the present moment is. It's what happens when you stop holding on. When you stop trying to make life fit a timetable, and instead allow it to unfold in its own rhythm. You see, the idea of later is one of the great tricks of the mind. We say, later I'll be happy. Later I'll have peace. Later I'll be free. But later never comes. There is only the moving edge of now, and that is where everything lives. The mind wants to fix this now into a point, but the now is not a point. It is more like a horizon, always here, yet never grasped. And once you understand this, the burden of time begins to dissolve. You start to feel lighter, as though you've stepped out of an invisible cage. Most people live in a perpetual state of elsewhere. They are here, but their minds are not. They are always on their way to something, never quite home. But life is not elsewhere. It is not waiting for you tomorrow. It is breathing, moving, pulsing here in this very instant. Stop again. Notice how everything changes when you really see it. The sounds, the sensations, the play of light and shadow. You are not moving through time, time is moving through you. Or perhaps there is no movement at all, only the timeless presence of being itself. This is why the sages of old laughed so easily. They saw through the game. They saw that the past is nothing more than the mind's echo, and the future a shimmering mirage. And so they relaxed. They danced, because there was nothing to reach, nothing to hold, nothing to lose. To live without the illusion of time is not to become careless, or lazy, or indifferent. It is to live vividly. To act when action arises, not because you are driven by fear or desire, but because the moment itself calls you. It is to love without waiting, to speak without rehearsal, to die to every moment as it passes, and be reborn in the next, though truly there is no next. The world is always new, you see. Every instant is a universe unto itself. And yet, how rarely we allow ourselves to notice this wonder, because we are too busy looking at the clock. When you sit quietly, when you stop chasing, you may begin to sense it, the stillness beneath all movement. It is like listening to the silence between words, the pause between breaths. That stillness is not in time. It is the eternal background upon which the play of time unfolds. And that stillness is what you truly are. Not a traveler moving from birth to death, but the ever-present awareness within which the whole show appears. You are not the minutes that pass. You are the space in which minutes are imagined. When you were a child, days seemed endless. The summers stretched on forever. And then, as you grew older, time began to accelerate, or so it seemed. But what really changed? Not time, only your way of seeing it. You became a counter of moments, rather than a participant in their flow. And now, as an adult, you live surrounded by reminders, watches, schedules, phones, calendars, all whispering, hurry up, hurry up. Yet no matter how fast you run, the horizon never draws nearer. The truth is, you've been home all along. This moment, just as it is, contains the whole of eternity. It is not a fragment in a sequence. It is the whole thing, appearing now in this shape, as this sound, as this breath. Stop again. Breathe. Notice the quiet space around these words. That's it. That's where reality truly lives. And once you taste it, even for a moment, you'll know that you've never been bound by time at all. You were simply dreaming it. And so, you see, the illusion of time isn't some intellectual mistake to be corrected. It's a kind of trance, a spell we've woven around ourselves. We chant it daily through our speech. I was, I will be, someday. And every time we speak this way, we reinforce the dream that life is something happening to us rather than through us. But when you awaken from this dream, you don't find a new time, you find timelessness. You find that the flow you called time is simply the breathing of the universe, and that you are that breath. You are not watching it, you are it. Now, it's a peculiar thing, because when people first hear this, they often think, well, that's rather useless. If there's no time, how am I supposed to live? How do I get things done? But the point isn't to deny the practical rhythm of life, the sun rising, the seasons turning, the growth of the body. Those are rhythms, not clocks. They are not counting anything. The tree doesn't rush to grow its leaves. The moon doesn't hurry across the sky. They are in their own eternal dance. It's only we, with our anxious minds, who turn the dance into a race. We measure what cannot be measured, and then suffer because we don't keep up with our own measurement. You've noticed, haven't you, how time feels different depending on your state of mind. An hour waiting in fear feels endless. An hour in love disappears in an instant, which shows us that time is elastic, woven out of consciousness itself. It's not an external force dragging us along, it's the texture of our attention. And so, when you are fully absorbed, painting, listening to music, gazing at the sea, holding someone you love, time falls away. You lose the story of before and after. There is only this, and in that timelessness, there is peace. because the anxiety of time is born from comparison: what I was, what I might become, what I should be by now. All those ghosts and mirages are creations of the mind. The present has never once compared itself to anything. Look carefully, this moment does not strive. It simply is, and that is why it is whole. We imagine that time flows forward, but in truth, it stands perfectly still, and we are the ones who move, spinning stories across its stillness, like a child drawing lines in the sand. And then we say, look, the world is moving, when it is only our thought that trembles. You may notice right now, even as you listen, there is a strange stillness in which everything is happening. Your thoughts move, the world hums, sensations shift. Yet there is something unmoving, quietly watching it all. That watcher, that awareness, is untouched by time. It has seen every birth and death, every sunrise and sunset, yet it never ages. It was there when you were a child, and it is here now, exactly the same. The body changed, the thoughts changed, the stories changed, but that simple awareness has never left. That is what you are. Not the moments, not the memories, but the space through which they pass. And once you begin to rest as that awareness, you realize there is nothing to chase, nothing to become, because what you truly are is already whole. You were never in need of more time, only of seeing through the illusion that time could ever give you what you already are. We think enlightenment is a kind of arrival, a point in the future when we'll finally get it. But awakening is not a future event. It's the recognition that there is no future to wait for, that you are already home, already free, already the thing you were seeking. It's rather like a man searching for his glasses when they are sitting on his nose. He goes in circles, growing frustrated, looking everywhere. And then someone laughs softly and says, "Look." And in that instant, the search ends, not because he found something new, but because he saw what had always been. So it is with time. You don't need to escape it, you simply need to stop believing it holds you. And when that belief softens, life becomes light again. The rush, the pressure, the endless measuring of success and failure all begin to fade. You act when it's time to act, you rest when it's time to rest, but you no longer live for the future. You live from the present. You become like a musician who no longer counts beats, but feels them. Time is no longer an enemy, but a rhythm. And every beat, every tick, every passing second becomes a note in the grand harmony of now. Listen, do you hear it? That faint pulse beneath all your thoughts? That is not the ticking of a clock. That is the heartbeat of eternity, playing as you. It's funny, isn't it? We spend our lives saying, "I don't have enough time," as if time were some precious commodity we could store up. But you can't have time. You are time, or rather, what time pretends to be. You are the movement of life itself, pretending to be a person moving through it. And when you see that, oh, what a relief to stop being the struggler, the one trying to keep up, to realize there was never anything chasing you, only your own imagination. Think of a movie reel. We see the frames flicker by so quickly that we perceive motion. But in reality, each frame is perfectly still. The film doesn't move, the light does. In the same way, life seems to rush by, but existence itself is utterly still. What you call time is the light of awareness flashing upon the frames of now. You see, eternity is not an endless stretch of moments, it is the absence of sequence altogether. It is the eternal simultaneity of all that is. Everything that has ever been or will ever be is present right here, like a vast chord in which all notes sound together. But to the human mind, that chord is too rich, so we hear it as a melody. We break it into parts, one note at a time, and call it time. Stop for a moment. Feel that. That's eternity playing as this very moment. And the miracle of it is, it never ends. Even the ending of your life will not be the end of now. The forms will change, the waves will settle, but the ocean will remain. The awareness that is listening to these words, that gentle witness, is not born and does not die. It is the same awareness that looked out through the eyes of the first beings on earth and will look again through countless eyes to come. When you understand this, not as a belief, but as a felt reality, your relationship with time changes completely. You no longer say, life is short. You realize life is infinitely deep. It cannot be measured by clocks or calendars. The stars spin, the seasons turn, and yet, here you are, the still point around which all movement revolves. The lie we live is the lie of becoming. We think we must reach somewhere, improve, arrive, but all the while, we are standing in the middle of the eternal miracle, searching for it elsewhere. It's a bit like standing in the middle of a beautiful garden and closing your eyes, saying, "Where are the flowers? I must find them." All you need to do is open your eyes. You see, the present is not a moment in time, it's what time happens in. It's the field from which all moments arise and dissolve. And once you begin to rest there, really rest, everything changes. You no longer try to control life. You allow it to flow, to surprise you, to move through you. You respond instead of reacting. You trust instead of fearing. Because you see what can be lost if everything you ever loved is already contained in the eternal now. Even loss itself becomes a kind of transformation, not a theft. And in that understanding, time becomes gentle again. The ticking clock becomes a song, not a warning. Each sunrise is not a reminder of passing days, but of timeless renewal. Look around you. Notice how even as things change, the light, the sound, your very thoughts, something deeper remains perfectly still. That stillness is the truth. That is you. That is home. And so, let go of the lie. Let go of the idea that you are a creature trapped between a past and a future. You are not in time. Time is in you. You are the vast sky, and time is just the weather passing through. Sometimes cloudy, sometimes bright, but the sky remains untouched. When you know this, truly know it, there's a kind of laughter that rises up, a lightness, because you realize you were never late, never behind, never ahead. You were always exactly where you were meant to be, because there is nowhere else to be. So now, stop. Just stop and listen. Do you feel that stillness? That's eternity, breathing. That's life, before it becomes my life. Stay there a little while. Let it wash through you. Let it remind you that all your rushing, all your striving, all your seeking was only a game of hide and seek with yourself. And now, at last, you can rest. For the game was never meant to be won, only to be played, to be seen, to be danced. And now you know. There is no race to the finish, because there is no finish. There is only the unfolding mystery of this moment, always now, always whole. So smile. You've come home, though you never left.